Hi, welcome to First Time Parent again. So what I'm going to go over today is the prep work for potty training. So these are some of the things that we've purchased that I found beneficial. We were able to potty train James in a weekend, so 2 days. First I'll talk about what we got, the reason why, and then I'll also cover what to look for to indicate that they're ready, and then the weekend process, how it actually went. So just to kick off, one thing I got forever ago, this is a Free to Baby all-in-one. I guess I should also say this is all stuff purchased with our money. Don't have any sponsorships or anything like that. For this one, it's a Free to Baby all-in-one. I actually bought it back when Buy My Baby was going out of business and they had their super deals. So James wasn't even one yet. And I just know, you're gonna have to potty train him, enjoy. And with it on such a sale, I just went ahead and got it and kept hold of it for the longest of time. Not even open because we never used them. This entire kit right here, this thing, and this, never used. One thing that I knew going into it, and what I also saw sometimes on Google and research, was they might be intimidated or afraid of the big toilet. So I didn't want to try to get him used to using something that was smaller or uncommon, where he would then be afraid to do the next step up. So we didn't even bother with these, and I'll get them out of the way. Now you'll notice with that being said, I haven't sold them or thrown them away because I think it could be beneficial when we start going on trips. Keep it in the car as backup, and if you need to, stop on the side of the road and utilize the facilities. We did, however, use this, and this also from the kit. So we started using these super early. Climb up with assistance, of course, into the bathtub, or when we're changing Emma, he'll bring one in there and step up and watch or help, hand us a new diaper and stuff like that. So these are actually really handy and something that I would highly recommend. We started using them probably the last year, so well before he potty trained. The other thing that came in that kit was this one. I don't like it. This doesn't convert to our toilet seat size, and you can kind of get in so that the front is seated in, but there's not much of a lip here. I don't know if you can see it though. There's not much of a lip there. With boys, you tell them to keep it pushed down, but with that not being a lip, it just goes out. So when we were using these, between the toilet seat that's normally there and the base, his pee would just go through it and they'll flow down the toilet outside and then on the floor around the toilet. So I'm definitely discouraged from that. Instead, one that we found that we like much better is this one. So it does have a much larger lip there, and it does also have a curve here for boys. That's very beneficial. I don't know if you can see how much of a lip there is. This one, we have yet to have it flow out underneath it into the toilet seat and the floor, but we have had situations where it gets underneath this somewhere, and when you take it off and then put it back on, it does leave pee on the seat. Get something to always wipe it, just to be on the safe side, especially at night. Just get in the habit of wiping first, because there's nothing worse than sitting in wet stuff, pee, before you have to go. So the other thing that I really like about this is handles. So James has gotten to where he wants to be independent and get up on his own using the step stools, and then the handles kind of help him navigate and get centered and comfortable up there, and then also to get off. He's not tall enough to get off or jump off on his own, so he does still use the step stools. Another top tip with this is get enough for all the toilets in your house. So we have a 2-story. We initially just purchased 2. One for downstairs, bathroom up here. But what we're finding is with Emma now being a little bit more sensitive to noises when it's time for her to sleep, and sometimes him running around like a rhino, we found that we might not want to use the guest bath instead, which is next to her room, but instead use the master bathroom. So it would just be easier to have one of these next to all the toilets, pain in our eye having to grab it and move it, and then you forget where you put it in the morning, the mad dash to see which one has it and then running and getting in. So highly recommend, not only for upstairs, downstairs, but also for all of the toilets that you could potentially ever use for the kids. Other things I recommend for potty training is carpet cleaner. So this is actually handy just having kids or even pets. So James has had 4 accidents in, I think it's been 5 weeks. All of them happened within the first week. And it's good to have so that if it is on carpet, it's a quick cleanup. We've actually used it more for throw up, unfortunately. Even the dogs throw up. You're gonna want to not necessarily treat it immediately, and we'll talk about this more in another video of if there is an accident, but you will want to come back and do it sometime that day. So, highly recommended. Even if you're not potty trained yet, you get it. Murphy's Law is if there's going to be throw up and it's going to be on carpet, a bed, on the couch or something. It's never like in the toilet at this age. Speaking of bed without mattress pad, definitely invest in a mattress pad. This is one for the kids' bed, but also have it on y'all's beds too. Because whenever they're feeling sick, they're going to want to snuggle with mommy and daddy. I recommend 2 for crib, just so that as one's being washed, you have a solution. The other things I recommend are wet ones. I have them at each of the bathrooms next to the toilet, and the reason for this is when they start to get more independent and they want to wipe themselves, they will tend to get pee and stuff still on their hands. So then they'll need your assistance to get down if they don't have a step stool, or they might ask for your assistance to pull up the pants, or maybe it's the really bad poopy butt that you need to wipe too. So they're just really handy to have nearby. And yes, I know they're not like a super cleanser. This is just a step before getting him to the sink, the soap and water process. This is an interesting one that a friend actually turned us on to. It is like a little portable travel seat. It has little suction cups, so it sticks on, and it just makes it easier for them to sit on like a seat when you go out shopping or something without having to fall in. It does have a little plastic part too. It's hard plastic, you just wipe it clean and then stick it back into its bag, and then put it back into the baby bag. That's where we keep it. I will say it's not a necessity. It's a very nice to have, but we have forgotten it a couple times. So the other trick to that is just turn them sideways and hold on. But that just makes it so much easier. Nighttime, that is one of the harder trainings to do. So I would recommend having a pull-up and having it underneath the underwear and then their pajamas. So with these, we rename it instead of a diaper. It's his nighttime underwear. And he does actually pretty good with not even going at night. So, you know, just reuse the same one over and over again. We'll talk about that a little bit more in another video. But still recommend, I would say the pull-ups most definitely instead of the other kind, because if you get him ready for bed and then he has to go to the restroom, you want something where he can still pull it down and pull it up fairly easily. Lesson learned on that too. And then of course the underwear. So what I did was I actually bought the first set for him based on his favorite characters of Paw Patrol. And I did it about a month and a half before we were planning to start potty training, but plans don't always work out. So we had him for probably about 5 months before he actually needed him, and that was very beneficial. And then once he got potty trained, and the reason why I waited was I didn't want him to like see him and get all excited about, you know, I want to wear these and not be ready yet. I let him pick out his own set, and I think that really helped because he also now has an option. Does he want to do, he calls Hot Wheels Hot Room, or does he want to do Paw Patrol? So he gets excited about actually picking out the underwear that he wants. I think that helps. And then lastly, our M&Ms. So depending on your child, you can do different type of candy or sweets, or whatever you feel comfortable giving them as like a reward or a treat. So I will say these probably lasted like, my husband and I have been eating them too, but goodness. But for these, I'd probably say for the first week, maybe 2 weeks, it was very consistent. We did 1 for pee and 2 for poop. He would be asking for them and want them and stuff, and you know, it'd be a little bit more of an encouragement of having him to go. But after that, he really hasn't. It's kind of if he sees them or like if we mention them or something, then he'll be interested. But so don't worry about you're gonna like he's just gonna live off of M&Ms. All the every kid's different. I hope these also you find benefit in, and if there are anything else that you've used that you think are beneficial, please include it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I wish you great luck in your potty training. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk later. Bye. Try not to say too much. Anyways.